goes on in verse 11 to say, therefore, remember that you who were once Gentiles in the flesh, who are called uncircumcision by what is called the circumcision, made in the flesh by hands. Before he gets into this paradox, this life of now accepting people as they are in Christ and not dividing them, he says, remember before you were in Christ, and he just kind of invites them to remember. It's very important that we spend time remembering who we were prior to our life with Jesus, because now you're not your own. You were bought at a price. You are to glorify God in your bodies, which are his. When you were outside of Christ, not only were you alienated from the goodness that Christ gives, but you were a rebel. You did whatever you wanted. And if you didn't want to do this, you didn't like to do that, you didn't do that. But now that you're in Christ, I'm just going to be honest with you, okay, you don't have that freedom. You have trusted somebody to be the governor of your life. Jesus. You say, hey, whatever you want. I get to go to heaven based on your work. Wow, is there anything I can now do for you? He says, yeah, live for me, okay? Represent me. Verse 10 says, you're my poema, my poem, my project, my workmanship. And God is displaying a project through you. Wouldn't that be awesome? God says, I want to send a message to the world through you. Do you guys think that the church right now is representing a message? I'm not saying from him, but a message. You think the church has a message for the people? You think anybody looks at a church and says, that's what I thought. I thought that's what they were all about. You ever been to a church service before and kind of just left queasy? I don't know if I belong to this crowd. I don't know if I'm part of this. Or listen, God says, I want the message that my kids have, the poema, the workmanship, the project. I want it to be very clear. And I want it to be one that's all-inclusive and full of love, and full of forgiveness and grace, and full of a family that is very diversified, but is very unified. Only God can do that. The world's trying super hard to do that. You guys realize that? I mean, the world is working super hard to do that, and they're not able to do it because they're doing it apart from the head, apart from the Father. So the UN, the United Nations, and governments all around, and Middle East peace committees, and everyone wants to do and establish what God says. Oh, we did that. We did We did that. We broke down the walls. There's now total acceptance. And when you eliminate God and you eliminate Christ, you can't have what he has offered only through him.